Hi, I'm David. My YouTube channel is Branson Off Grid, and basically I help people that want to be off grid find the technology and so forth they need to accomplish what they're trying to accomplish, and preferably at the right price. Now, I've done some, mainly work with residential customers. I've done some previous videos you can see on my channel on flow batteries and that kind of thing, but here's a fairly new technology called a saltwater battery, or saltwater technology, and the website is aquionenergy.com, A-Q-U-I-O-N energy.com, and I'm on there. They call it the Aspen battery. It's basically a 48 volt battery which can be used even in small off-grid systems. They use it, it's been used in, so far since I think about 2014. It's actually been out on large scale integrations on the grid basically, but now you can buy it through a number of distributors and install it even in a residential setting. So here's kind of a look at the battery. If you go to I'm on aquionenergy.com. If you go there and look at it, it's a they call it an aqueous hybrid ion technology. And this is just a small individual stack that you can pull 48 volts from. So you can get all the white papers on it and all the spec sheets here. And they also have a 24 volt version. The one I just installed for a customer is this module. Now here's the same thing. These are individual stacks. So you have 12 stacks all in one individual module. And then it's all designed, this is basically designed for a grid type installation. However, it really isn't that complicated. You just have a negative and positive terminal here. You have it's all fused inside. All the stacks are all fused for you, so everything's kind of done for you. There's just a ground terminal there, and there's some other connections here if you're using it in a grid tie where you have say 100 of these all tied together. They can be even tied in series or parallel depending on how you're doing your system. The important thing about this is, for the money, this is an amazing technology. It uses sodium sulfate, so it's not the kind of salt you table salt or anything like that. It is a liquid, but it's in kind of like a sponge inside of these containers. Each of these are 48 volt stacks, and then they're all paralleled together into one. So basically you have 30, I think it's rated at 30.6 kilowatt hours. Well, okay. And it says it can be connected in series up to 1,000 volts DC. So it's an amazing little unit here. But there's some unique things about the saltwater technology, and the price of it is cheap enough. This stack here, I'll show you a distributor over here. They have it listed basically right there at $15,000. So 30 kilowatt hours of storage. The unique thing about it is this battery can be drained 100% state of discharge. You can leave it there, come back and charge it up a month later. It just doesn't care about how it's charged like a lithium-ion battery would be, or a lead acid. Lead acids need to be charged very specifically, where this one is mainly you're just concerned about trying to put too much voltage through it and that kind of thing. But most of the equipment that's already in use today will use this battery. It can all be programmed properly with the right voltage and amperage ratings and everything to utilize this battery as a backup. So most everything that people already have, they could basically plug and play this kind of battery and just put it in, set it up with the right program in it for this battery, and they're off and running. I've got one in now. I've looked at it for a couple of weeks now, and I would say it's quite amazing how well it actually works. And I'll cover the upsides and downsides of it, and I've got it hooked to Magnum Energy off-grid inverters, the MSPAE inverters, which are 220 volt. So I've got a system there we'll talk about with this battery already on it, and I'll get some video on it soon, but I think you should see this, because anybody looking to be off-grid, this is probably the best thing for, especially for a homeowner out on the market. And even in comparison to flow batteries, it's actually a lot cheaper. I've talked about these flow batteries before. They're quite expensive. They might be good, but the other aspect with the flow battery in a residential type application is the type of inverters, and there's some specifics that go with the flow battery itself, where this is more of a plug and play for existing equipment that people already have. Now, they have spec sheets on different ones. I didn't see anything listed that won't work with it, so I'm not really sure what won't work with it, but I think it appears that all your mainline equipment that's already in use will work with this battery. It'll charge and discharge it as you need to use it. So let's look over here at the distributor list. This is on Aquion Energy. If you look for a distributor, our the big problem really was finding a local installer that would install this, because most of your installers have probably never heard of a saltwater battery, and you'll be educating them if you take this information to them, because they are probably just now learning about it, or maybe they've never even heard of it. My local installer here in Branson, Missouri used Alt-E, which is Alternative Energy Store, and here's their front page on their website. They're up in Massachusetts, I think. At any rate, you can see they have up here, or actually they have a little scrolling thing up here, they have a page on the module and the stacks. Like I said, they have individual stacks, which they've been selling now for a while, and then they have this pre-wired, called a pre-wired module, 48 volt for $15,000. And then they provide some information here. It says it's rated at 507 amp hours, and that it can output a total of 240 amps. Well, I think this is an older page here. I think if you just look here on the Aquion and stick with what it says over here on the Aquion page, you'll have more up-to-date information. It's rated at 3,000 cycles, but it doesn't go bad. It's just down to only 70% of the original capacity after 3,000 cycles. Well, that could be 10 years or more. I think they warranty it for, I think, 5 years plus a 3-year prorated is the way they warranty it. It says right there, depth of discharge 100%, round trip efficiency better than 90%. It really is amazing. The issue with the battery is you need to have a battery, well, off grid of course, but the big thing with the battery is most of your charging power current that's coming in from your solar panels is between, let's say, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., something like that. It's in the middle of the day, where most of your usage is either in the morning or later in the evening, generally later in the evening. So you need, you can use quite a bit of battery late in the evening, which if you try to buy enough lead acid batteries to run your house, that's the big problem. You end up with a lot of strings, a lot of maintenance. This is maintenance free. It really only needs a bulk and a sorb charge. It doesn't need a float, although you can program it with a float correctly. And you don't need to equalize it. They self-equalize. So there's just so many good things about this battery. Pretty much once it's installed, you just kind of forget about it. Make sure you're not overcharging it. That's seems to be its big thing. And there's just so many good things about it. You can read on their website all about the technology. I don't want to get into that, but I will eventually do some videos and show the install of the battery and what we have it hooked to, which are, like I said, a couple Magnum inverters, 4400 watt inverters. And it's pretty interesting. I think a lot of people in residential settings will decide now that they can, for the price of installing a system, they can make their own energy. The one I designed here for this customer is a hybrid. Actually, we have a basically a transfer switch, a double pole double throw switch. So we have the grid is still available, but it's on a manual switch, so they don't ever connect to the grid unless it's absolutely necessary, and it just hasn't been. Their daily usage is generally around 20. I think their average came out to 22 kilowatt hours a day, and they've gone up to 35 some days, so it varies, but haven't run out of battery. So I think when you see how we installed it, and they're also an all-electric. They're electric water heater, and they're running their stove and everything on this battery. So it's quite amazing how well it discharges. At any rate, your Alt-E page over here gives you a little information, but I think it's older. And you should get all this information off of Aquion Energy direct instead of going to someone else's website. Although there's the connectors, which are kind of nice to see. Basically, all it takes is these little connectors here on the bottom to connect it up. So you have to have that because of the specific connections on the battery. But it's pretty much plug and play. There's not a whole lot of video out there on the Aquion, so I guess the one I do might be one of the few on YouTube, but at least this is a little intro, let you know about it. You can start learning about it, and seriously look at this. If you're going to go off grid and you're looking at lead acid batteries or other types of technology, or you really hope to have a flow battery or something, I've looked at flow batteries. They're really not the thing for residential use. There's too many negatives, although they're great batteries, and especially for large grids, microgrids even, and other types of applications, they're great. But for a simple residential use, probably not so much. So I think this is a good alternative, allow you to keep your existing equipment and still get a battery installed that will provide all the power you need. So we'll talk. I'll do some more videos soon. Thank you.